Okay, let's unpack this because you are currently living through one of the most bizarre anomalies in consumer tech history.
Oh, without a doubt. It's totally unprecedented.
Right. I mean, picture this. It is August 2026. The smartphone world is absolutely buzzing about these brand new 1,700-pound ultra flagships.
Yeah, the massive ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Galaxy S26 Ultra, the brand new Pixel 10 Pro. These are massive, expensive investments just wrapped in titanium and, well, a ton of marketing hype.
The absolute pinnacle of current mobile engineering, supposedly.
Supposedly. But, our mission today on this deep dive isn't to look at those shiny new toys. We are talking directly to you, our fellow tech obsessive, about a device that is actively cannibalizing the sales of those 1,700-pound phones.
Right under their noses.
Literally. A piece of glass and aluminum from October 2023, the Google Pixel 8 Pro.
Right, a phone that you can currently buy on the secondhand market for about 200 quid.
Exactly, 200. And we have a massive stack of sources to figure out how this even happened.
Yeah.
We're looking at an Android Headlines Ultimate Buyer's Guide that's been tracking this device for years. We've got a deeply revealing 2026 Reddit long-term user thread.
Lots of strong opinions in that one.
Oh, totally. Plus, we pulled life cycle data from endoslife.date, we reviewed accessory ecosystem guides, and we're bringing in a really highly technical YouTube breakdown from Marcel on Tech.
And what we are going to do today is deconstruct exactly why this 3-year-old device has basically become the unbeatable value king of 2026.
Right.
Because, this isn't just about finding a good deal. It's about how a very specific combination of hardware architecture and, honestly, an unprecedented software pipeline is actively disrupting the traditional upgrade cycle that you've been forced into for the last 15 years.
Yeah, it's breaking the wheel. So we had to start with the physical hardware, because to understand why this phone is surviving and thriving in 2026, we have to look at what Google actually built back in 2023. Let's talk about the display first.
Good place to start.
According to the spec sheet, it's a 6.7-inch QHD plus Super Actua display. Now, I know Super Actua sounds like pure marketing jargon.
Oh, it absolutely was a marketing term. But the underlying technology it represents is vital here.
What was it actually?
What we were really talking about is an LTPO OLED panel that was just aggressively over-engineered for its time. The crucial metric here is brightness. The Pixel 8 Pro peaks at 2,400 nits.
Wait, pause right there for a second. We throw the word nits around a lot in tech circles. But what exactly is a nit, mechanically speaking?
Right, so it's a measure of luminance. Think of 1 nit as roughly the light of a single candle spread across a square meter.
Okay, a candle in a square meter.
Exactly. And for years, smartphone displays sort of hovered around 800 to 1,000 nits. The previous generation, the Pixel 7 Pro, peaked at 1,500.
Which was considered bright at the time.
It was, but jumping to 2,400 nits in 2023, that meant the screen was putting out so much sheer photonic energy that it could overpower direct, glaring atmospheric sunlight.
So that's why, even today, in 2026, you can stand on a beach at noon and read a text message without, squinting or constantly cupping your hand over the screen to make a shadow.
Precisely. Google basically recognized that visibility is a hard physical limit on a device's lifespan.
Oh, for sure. If you can't see the screen outdoors, the phone just feels old and cheap.
Exactly. By pushing it to 2,400 nits back then, they ensured it would still feel perfectly modern today.
Okay, that makes sense for the outside. But let's look at the inside, specifically the memory, because this is where I think the real time travel happened.
Oh, the RAM.
Yeah. The Pixel 8 Pro shipped with the Tensor G3 processor and 12 gigabytes of LPDDR5X RAM. Let me try out an analogy here to see if I actually understand this correctly.
Go for it.
Think of your phone's long-term storage as a massive filing cabinet in the corner of an office. But RAM, the random access memory, is the top of your physical desk.
Okay.
To run heavy applications, you can't be constantly walking over to the filing cabinet to fetch data, right? You need a massive 12-gigabyte desk so you can just lay all your papers out at once. Is that right?
That is a perfect way to visualize it.
Yeah.
And then that specific type of RAM, the LPDDR5X, is critical.
What does the X stand for?
The X stands for extended bandwidth, so it means data moves across that disk much faster, and more importantly, it requires a lot less battery voltage to do it.
Okay, but so why did 12 gigs matter so much in 2023? I remember people arguing online that 12 gigs for an Android phone was just massive overkill. You'd only need that much desk space if you were trying to keep like 50 heavy mobile games open all at once.
Right, and what's fascinating here is that Google wasn't preparing for mobile games at all. They were preparing for large language models.
The AI revolution.
Exactly. When you run an AI model like Google's Gemini directly on the device,
Meaning it's local.
right, meaning it's not sending your prompts up to a cloud server, but processing the language natively right there in your hand. That model requires a massive, continuous footprint of active memory.
It needs the entire desk.
It needs the whole desk.
Yeah.
If it has to fetch data from the filing cabinet, the AI lags, it stutters, and the whole illusion of an instant smart assistant just breaks down.
That is wild.
Hmm.
So by putting 12 gigs of RAM into the 8 Pro back in 2023, they were secretly laying the runway for software that didn't even exist yet.
It was a strict, necessary, future-proofing measure. And I mean, the proof is right in front of us. The base models of the brand new 2026 Galaxy S26 Ultra and the Pixel 10 Pro,
Yeah.
they still use that exact same 12-gigabyte RAM configuration.
No way.
Yes. That deliberate hardware choice is literally the only reason the Pixel 8 Pro can handle 2026's on-device Gemini tasks natively today.
Okay, if the memory was built for the future, let's look at how they handle the cameras.
Yeah.
Because the Android Headlines Guide details a 50-megapixel main sensor with 21% more light sensitivity than the previous generation,
Huge jump.
plus a 48-megapixel ultra-wide and a 48-megapixel telephoto with a 5x optical zoom.
Right, and those sensors are physically massive for a smartphone, which allows more photons to hit the digital film, basically.
But it's not just the hardware, right? We dive into the YouTube transcript from Marcel on Tech. He highlights a really critical software mechanism that Google finally unlocked for the Pro model.
The manual controls.
Yes, raw image capture and granular manual controls. Let's break down RAW for a second for anyone who isn't a photography nerd.
Sure.
Normally, when you take a photo on a smartphone, the phone's AI instantly compresses it into a JPEG. It basically throws away a ton of invisible light data just to keep the file size small.
Right, I always say it bakes the cake for you.
Ooh, I like that. But RAW captures every single photon of light data the sensor sees without compressing it.
It leaves the cake unbaked.
Exactly. This allows a photographer to take a photo that looks completely dark on the screen, pull it into editing software later, and just magically pull details out of the shadows that a JPEG would have permanently deleted.
Which is huge. So instead of the phone's AI just guessing what the photo should look like, you can actually force the hardware to behave like a 3,000-pound DSLR camera.
Right. You can manually choose shutter speeds, focus points, and keep all that raw data.
Which fundamentally changes the device from a point-and-shoot toy into a legitimate professional tool.
Okay, so the hardware is clearly capable. But, as we know, hardware without instructions is just an expensive paperweight. Let's look at the lifecycle data we pulled from endoflife.date, because October 2023 marked a massive paradigm shift for Android.
Oh, the 7-year promise.
Yes. Google announced a guarantee of 7 years of OS, security, and feature drop updates. 7 years. That means this phone is fully supported until October 2030. It will comfortably run Android 17.
And honestly, this cannot be overstated. Before this, you were lucky to get 3 years of OS updates.
If that.
Right. What used to happen is that your phone's physical hardware would still be totally fine, but the software would stop receiving security patches.
So it became dangerous to use.
Exactly. The moment an exploit was found, your perfectly good phone became a digital liability, which effectively forced you to throw it away. By extending the pipeline to 2030, Google decoupled the software death from the physical hardware lifespan.
And it isn't just invisible security patches keeping the lights on either. It's the feature drops. I was reading through the Android Headlines timeline, and this phone just keeps mutating.
It really does evolve.
Let's talk about the thermometer.
Yeah.
When the 8 Pro launched, it had an actual infrared temperature sensor on the camera bar. And I remember everyone thought it was a complete gimmick for, like, checking if your coffee was hot.
Because at launch, that's pretty much all it did. It lacked the software calibration for anything else.
Right. But then a feature drop lands,
Yeah.
and suddenly it's an FDA-approved medical tool to check human body temperatures.
How on earth does the software update turn a gimmick into medical equipment?
Well, it comes down to algorithmic refinement. The infrared sensor reads thermal radiation, but human skin emits radiation differently than a ceramic coffee mug.
Sure, that makes sense.
So the software update essentially taught the sensor's algorithms how to specifically read the temporal artery on your forehead.
Wow.
It calculates your core body temperature with enough clinical precision to actually satisfy federal health regulators.
That is incredible. And the features just kept coming. Like
Yeah.
in March 2025, they added scam detection powered by that on-device AI.
Which, again, relies on that massive 12-gigabyte RAM disk.
Exactly. But how does it actually work? Because people hear AI listening to my calls, and they immediately think Google is recording their conversations and sending them to an advertising server.
Which is a valid fear. But that's the beauty of local processing. Because the AI model lives entirely on the RAM disk inside the phone, it can listen to the audio patterns of a phone call locally.
Okay, so it's completely isolated.
Yes, it recognizes the specific scripts and urgency tactics used by fraudsters.
Like someone claiming to be from your bank demanding an immediate wire transfer.
Exactly. And it alerts you right on the screen. Not a single byte of your voice audio is sent to a cloud server.
So it's privacy through raw hardware power. It's so smart. They also added DisplayPort support via the USB-C port, which lets you plug the phone directly into a monitor to use it like a desktop. They trickled down these zoom-enhanced AI features from the Pixel 9.
It's a constant flow of upgrades.
Right. But if we zoom out, why does a constant stream of new features matter to the average person who maybe doesn't care about specs?
Because it psychologically prevents device fatigue. Think about it. Usually by year 3, your phone feels stale. The interface is identical to the day you bought it.
Yeah, you just get bored of it.
Exactly. But with feature drops, a Pixel 8 Pro user in 2026 periodically wakes up to a device that has magically learned a highly practical new trick. It resets the dopamine hit of novelty.
Which kills the urge to go buy a new phone.
Precisely.
Okay, that all sounds incredibly utopian. But let's step out of the spec sheets and look at what is actually happening in the trenches. What is it really like to use a 3-year-old phone in 2026?
That's where it gets a bit messy.
Yeah, we went deep into a Reddit community thread, and the feedback is totally polarizing. On one hand, you have a user literally saying they use their 200-pound Pixel 8 Pro as a daily backup to their 1,700-pound Pixel 10 Pro because the 8 runs Gemini just as well.
The secondhand market economics for this device are just unprecedented.
They really are.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting, though. I want to push back on this idea that Google is just, generously handing out software to keep us happy until 2030.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because if you read that same Reddit thread, users are furious about software gatekeeping.
Artificial limitation.
Yes. Users are pointing out that the brand new budget, Pixel 9a, is getting certain camera AI processing features that the 8 Pro just isn't getting.
Right.
If the 8 Pro has the exact same 12-gigabyte desk and the same sensor capabilities, why is Google locking the door to those features?
This raises an important point about corporate incentives, doesn't it? We have to look at the reality of the business model. Yes, the 8 Pro is getting updates, which is fantastic for longevity, but Google is still fundamentally a hardware company trying to sell you the Pixel 10.
Right, they have the built-in conflict of interest.
Exactly. If they gave the Pixel 8 Pro every single new software toy, they would remove all incentive for anyone to ever upgrade.
It's like a modernized digital version of planned obsolescence.
That's exactly what it is. They aren't breaking your phone, obviously. They are just heavily curating your access to the future to protect their quarterly hardware revenue.
Okay, so the software has some artificial limits. That's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. But physics doesn't care about Google's promises. What happens when the physical materials actually start to break down?
And they will break down.
Yeah, Reddit users are reporting some severe wear and tear by 2026. Let's talk about the display issues first. One user reported waking up to a bright vertical green line running straight down their screen.
Yeah, the classic OLED hardware failure.
What actually causes that? Is it just a software glitch?
No, that is pure physical degradation. OLED stands for Organic Light Emitting Diode. These are tiny organic materials that generate their own light.
Okay.
A vertical line usually means there has been a microscopic fracture in the display layers, often from like a really small drop or maybe a failure in the ribbon cable connecting the screen to the motherboard.
Ouch.
Yeah, when that connection fails, a whole column of pixels receives maximum voltage simultaneously, and it permanently illuminates them in green or sometimes pink.
So the screen literally breaks on a microscopic level.
Basically, yes.
But the bigger complaint on Reddit, by far, is the battery. Users are saying their battery life has plummeted from all-day use to barely 5 hours of just checking emails and watching a few YouTube videos.
And that is the inescapable reality of lithium-ion chemistry. Inside that battery, lithium ions physically move back and forth between an anode and a cathode every single time you charge and discharge.
And that causes wear.
Oh, definitely. Over time, that physical movement causes these microstructures called dendrites to form, and the internal materials degrade. By 2026, a battery from 2023 has likely gone through well over 1,000 full charge cycles.
Wow.
So it can't hold a charge anymore because the physical space for the ions to sit has actually deteriorated.
It's chemically exhausted. But this is where the 2030 software promise changes everything. The Reddit community found the ultimate loophole.
I love this part.
Right. Because the software is supported for another 4 years, users are completely bypassing the expensive repair shops and doing it themselves. According to the thread, you can go to iFixit, buy a genuine Google replacement battery, plus the specific adhesive, the spudger tools you need to pry off the glass, all for just £55.
And that completely rewires how we think about tech investment.
Totally.
Historically, if your Android phone's battery died in year 3, you just threw the phone away. Why?
Okay.
Because you weren't getting security updates anymore.
Why spend money fixing the engine of a car that is legally banned from driving on the road?
Exactly. But because you are guaranteed updates until 2030, spending an hour at your kitchen table with a hairdryer and some iFixit tools to put a 55-pound battery into a 200-pound phone.
It's a brilliant investment.
It really is. You essentially reset the physical clock on the hardware to match the lifespan of the software,
It gives you a fully functional, highly capable device for the next 4 years.
which is huge for consumers.
So if you are going to invest the time to put a new battery in this thing, you obviously need to physically armor it so it actually survives until 2030. We look at Android Central's case recommendations, and honestly, the accessory ecosystem for the 8 Pro is still thriving in 2026.
Which is incredibly rare. I mean, accessory makers usually abandon Android phones after maybe 18 months to focus on the next generation.
Right, but because so many people are holding on to this phone, the market just adapted. Let's look at some specific ways to protect this tech. Android Central highlights the Caseborne Slim series. It offers 21-foot drop protection, which is just insane.
Gloriously impressive.
But what really caught my eye is that it has a built-in MagSafe ring. Wait, MagSafe is an Apple invention. Why would you want that on an Android case?
It's all about bridging ecosystem convenience. MagSafe is simply a circle of precisely aligned magnets around the wireless charging coil. By embedding those magnets into an Android case, you can suddenly use the entire world of Apple-centric accessories. Magnetic car mounts, snap-on wallets, and wireless chargers that perfectly align themselves so you don't wake up with a dead phone just because you bumped it off the charging pad in the middle of the night.
It's literally hacking the ecosystem.
Totally.
Now, if you want something even more intense, there's the VRS-designed Damn-to-Glide Pro, which looks like it belongs on a military base. It features a spring-loaded, hidden wallet compartment on the back to completely replace your physical wallet.
What's sociologically fascinating here is how the case market reflects the user's mindset.
What do you mean?
Well, people are treating a 200-pound, 3-year-old device with the protective reverence usually reserved for a brand new 1,700-pound flagship.
They know they have a golden ticket.
Exactly.
And if you don't want a tactical military case, the first-party Google cases are actually still highly recommended. They're made of 42% recycled materials and come in colors like porcelain, bay, and the minty fresh color they dropped in early 2024.
Oh, I loved that color.
Same. Or you can go to Cashify and get something fully custom made from 65% recycled phone cases. There's just no shortage of ways to physically guarantee this phone makes it to 2030.
The adaptability is key. Whether you work on a construction site or just want a sleek fashion accessory, the ecosystem ensures the hardware is physically protected to match that software pipeline.
Okay, we have covered a massive amount of ground today. We started with an anomaly and dug through the hardware, the software, the community hacks, and the physical armor. So what does this all mean for you listening right now?
It means that the Pixel 8 Pro represents a historic inflection point in consumer technology. It proves that when a manufacturer actually provides future-proofed hardware,
Like that 12-gigabyte RAM disk for local AI.
yes, when they provide that and marry it to an ironclad 7-year software commitment, the entire economic equation changes. You absolutely do not need to spend 1,700 pounds to have a top-tier, secure, and AI-capable smartphone experience in 2026.
The math is just undeniable. Think about it. You get a 200-pound used phone, a 55-pound battery replacement kit from iFixit, a solid 30-pound magnetic case.
It adds up fast, but in a good way.
Right. For under 300 pounds, you are getting 95% of the ultra flagship experience, fully supported and secure until the end of the decade.
It is the ultimate victory for the informed, practical consumer.
It really is.
Yeah.
But I want to leave you with one final, slightly provocative thought to mull over as you Look at whatever phone is currently sitting in your pocket.
Oh, here we go.
If a 3-year-old smartphone can easily survive for 7 years just by swapping a cheap lithium-ion battery and downloading continuous software updates, are we currently witnessing the death of the annual smartphone upgrade cycle?
It certainly challenges the primary business model the tech industry has relied on for over a decade.
Exactly. And if hardware stops becoming obsolete, I mean, if millions of us realize we don't need to buy a new phone every 2 years, how are these massive tech giants going to keep making their billions?
That is the big question.
Will we reach a tipping point where, because they can no longer force us to buy new glass rectangles, companies like Google and Apple will be forced to start charging us a £10 monthly subscription fee just to access the operating system on the phones we already own?
That is a highly logical, if slightly chilling next step for an industry desperate to maintain continuous revenue.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
But for now, you can enjoy beating the system. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the world of tech around you, and we'll catch you on the next one.